why would I riot if the Wings draft Azzi Fudd number 1 overall? And I want to be crystal clear. I am not saying Azzi Fudd isn't worthy of the number 1 overall pick in the draft. When you are one of the best players in the country coming out of college, you are worthy of being the number 1 pick in the draft. And given this crop of talent that is coming out, Azzi, Lauren Betts, Flau'jae Johnson, Tania Latson, Olivia Miles, et cetera, Azzi Fudd is one of the best players in the country. She's probably the best in that group and would warrant being picked number 1 overall if it were any team other than the Dallas Wings, right? And maybe this is the football guy in me, right?
Don't forget Flau'jae. People saying Flau'jae might go to Chicago at 5.
That would be interesting.
That
would be interesting. I have always felt that teams should draft for their the reality they live in now rather than the reality they think they want to live in the future, right? Azzi Fudd and Paige Bueckers on the same basketball team. We saw how that played out. It played out with them winning a championship, right? It played out with them being one of the best duos in the country or 2 pieces of the best trio in the country, dominating the country, winning a national championship. Azzi Fudd has been incredible so far to start the course of the season. I saw on threads, I know that you did it because I didn't, that you had re-quoted or re-threaded, whatever the language is, a thread on there that mentioned that Azzi has as many 20-point games this season as she did all of last season. Azzi Fudd is a really good basketball player. I am not denying that. But if you look at the Dallas Wings roster, number 1, they have a lot of guards. Now, that's not to say that Azzi Fudd wouldn't be drafted and start, because she would be drafted and start for the Wings in their guard rotation. But what I am saying is that they have a lot of guards. What they don't have is a lot of good bigs. And when you have...
Do they have a lot of good guards?
They have a handful of... They have 2 or 3 good guards, I would say.
Okay.
Ty Harris got hurt. She played pretty well for them before she got hurt. Obviously, they have Paige Bueckers. Assuming Arike is still there in Dallas next season, she also missed a lot of time this season. Those are 3 good guards.
Yeah. I mean, you said a lot of guards, and then you said a lot. You said
they have a lot of
good bigs.
They have a lot of they don't have good bigs. I don't like.
No, I know, but I'm making the distinction between a lot and a lot of good. You said they have a lot of guards. If you have a lot of guards, who cares? Are they good? Right?
Well, I think 3 or 4 of them are good enough where if they don't draft Azzi Fudd number 1 overall, they'll be okay. They need a big, is what I would like. They need a big, and I understand that maybe we're not sold on Lauren Betts as the number 1 overall pick because she hasn't looked this season the way she looked last season. I got that. This Awa Fam girl out of Spain has been described as a 6'6" demon, as far as I'm concerned. And the last player that we had coming from overseas that was described as a demon of any kind, Martin fell in love with her. If you don't know who it is, her name is Dom Malunga, because she was doing 1-step windmill dunk or drop step windmill dunks, whatever it is, and people just fell in love with her. And if this Awa Fam girl is out here doing all the things they're saying they're doing, which is knocking down threes at a high rate, being a good cutter, making good screens, playing good defense, being versatile, they need that in Dallas, because I can't think of the last time the Dallas Wings had a good big, a good big that was impactful. Sure, they've had Tierra McCowan, they've had Kalani Brown, but neither of them are doing the things.
I think Lee Yuru is a good big. I think she's a good big.
But Lee Yuru's not out here doing all the things that Awa Fam is doing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't.
But I do agree with you. Lee Yuru is a good big. I don't disagree with you. But
you're talking about elite. We're talking about elite. We want Paige to have an elite big.
Yes, I want Paige Bueckers to have a player in the post down low who can do her very best.
Yeah,
to do the things that need to be done to handle the onslaught of A'ja Wilson and
you better be elite.
If you're talking about A'ja Wilson, that the Minnesota
you don't just need a good big. You need elite.
Yeah. So this is the comparison I made to Martin, and then I'll get off my high horse. Right, Shedeur Sanders was arguably the best quarterback in the NFL draft this season, and he didn't get drafted because the league wanted to make a point. Right, and there are teams who didn't draft Shedeur Sanders who needed a quarterback, and they're probably regretting that decision now based on how their quarterback play has looked this season. If the Wings draft Azzi Fudd, right, and Lauren Betts goes somewhere else, and Awa Fam goes somewhere else, and they both look great. They both look incredible. They are both doing all the things that we think they're going to do and more. They're impacting winning, and their teams are better off for it. I think that the Wings would look back at April 14th, 2026, and regret having drafted Azzi Fudd if they don't draft Lauren Betts or Awafam. That is all I'm saying. And it's not because I don't think Azzi Fudd's a good basketball player. It's because they need a big, bro. Like, they need one bad. Like, really, really bad.
I agree. I said it all the way back to the beginning of the season. I gave 5 things that Paige needs in her career, and one of the things I said was an elite big. Like, yeah. It's known. It's a known thing. It's a known thing. But in your example, you don't think the same could happen? What if Azzi gets? What if Azzi's killing somewhere else? You don't think it applies the same?
No, I don't, because there are going to be okay, the Wings are not going to be a playoff team this season. Let's just start there. They're not going to be.
Bro, the league is going to look. We don't know who anyone is going to be next season. So I don't know if we can make projections yet.
I'm going to say it. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this season, which means the Wings are probably going to be in the lottery.
This season, it's November. This season isn't until next year. I don't even know anything yet.
I know. I don't care. I'm standing on it. I don't care. Here's the point that I'm making.
Go ahead.
What are we going to? We're going into 2020, the 2027 draft, when there's a litany of guards coming out in 2027 and 2028. Are those guards as capable of Azzi Fudd? I don't know. But like Juju Watkins is going to be coming out in the next 2 years. Hannah Hidalgo is going to be coming out in the next 2 years. There's a couple other guards going to be coming out in the next couple. Mylasia Full-Wiley's going to be coming out in the next couple years. Like, there are other guards that the Wings could get in the next 2 years that would play well next to Paige Bueckers. Not saying they'll play better next to Paige than Azzi did, because there's already the built-in chemistry there. But what I am saying is that there are other guards that are coming out in the next couple of years that you could go get and that can still be impactful. Are there that many bigs coming out in the next 2 years that have been as highly regarded as Lauren Betts and Awafam? I don't think so.
Don't talk to me about regard. Talk to me about game. I don't care about.
They go hand in hand. Your game is what gets you your regard.
That is a fact, but we still got to talk. Lauren Betts, she could be as highly regarded as possible. Do you think that Lauren Betts is the one to turn things around for Dallas as a big? Is that what you believe? As a number one pick?
I think Lauren Betts 100% would be so much better for the Dallas Wings as their starting center than Lee Uru.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing, Marcus. It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Lauren Betts isn't.
You could say that about many bigs in the WNBA. You could say that about many bigs. That's not what I'm asking you.
You're asking.
That's not what I asked you, bro. You know it's not.
That's it, bro. This isn't. You're asking me if I think Lauren Betts single-handedly can change the trajectory of the Dallas Wings franchise,
which is what a number one pick does. Which is what a number one pick does.
But she doesn't have to single-handedly change the trajectory of the franchise. Not when Paige Bueckers is there. That's not Lauren Betts' job.
She has players that she plays with. As a number one pick, right? Like, I'm not saying single-handedly. I'm saying as an individual, your presence should be helping to change the trajectory of the franchise.
Her presence would
almost help right away.
I think so.
Does Lauren Betts do that for the Dallas Wings, in your opinion?
I think she could, yes, because of who she would be playing with.
Okay.
We've watched Lauren Betts. We have said for the last 2 years, maybe 2.5. Lauren Betts is amongst one of the best players in the country, and she's been playing with Kiki Rice as her point guard. This is no disrespect to Kiki Rice, but Kiki Rice is not Paige Bueckers. Sure. So if Lauren Betts is in the conversations as being one of the best players in the country, and she's been playing with Kiki Rice, I can only imagine how much better she would look and how much more productive she would be playing off of Paige Bueckers. When Paige Bueckers is a better passer, a better scorer, a better shooter, a better defender, like better at all of the things than Kiki Rice, I can only assume and project that Lauren Betts would look better, play better, be better if Paige Bueckers were her point guard. So when you say if this were Lauren Betts being drafted to, I'm trying to think, like if this were Lauren Betts being drafted to the Connecticut Sun, where like you need a little bit more oomph there, I would agree with you on that point. Maybe you don't want to draft Lauren Betts into Connecticut because that's tough, right? But you're drafting Lauren Betts potentially drafting Lauren Betts into a scenario where they already have their franchise. No one's asking Lauren Betts to come be the franchise
we
player.
agree. Yeah, Paige is going to make her bet. Paige should make her better.
Yes,
I mean,
that's why I'm saying when you look at it, because I don't disagree with you. The number one pick should absolutely either, really both, be the best player in the draft class and also be a player that can change or help change the trajectory of your franchise. However, if the current number one overall pick isn't better, wouldn't be the number one overall pick in last year's draft class, and you happen to have that player too, then to me, being like the end-all be-all best player in your draft class, being the end-all be-all player that can change the trajectory of your franchise doesn't matter because you have that player already. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like Aaliyah, like this is like the Aaliyah Boston being drafted in 2023, right? Aaliyah Boston a little bit different because she was a champion and was, national player, like things of that nature. It is a little bit different, but also we knew what was coming down the line, right? Sure. If Caitlyn and Aaliyah were in the same draft, the Fever would have taken Caitlyn first because of who Caitlyn is and what she does to your offense and what she does to your brand on and off the floor. If Paige and Lauren Betts are in the same draft class, Paige Bueckers is going number one 10 times out of 10 if the Wings are still picking number one overall. Sure. So from that component, now if we want to get into the weeds about like the differences in skill between Lauren Betts and Awa Pham about whether or not it's actually Lauren Betts who should be that big, that's a different conversation. Because again, if Awa Pham is a 6'6" demon doing all these different things, that I look at it and say, yeah, let's go get her over Lauren Betts. Yeah. But if we're just having a Lauren Betts, Azzi Fudd conversation, given what the Wings need, I think it would be better for the Wings now and also in the future if they draft Lauren Betts. And the last thing I'll say is this, and this isn't like a super serious thing, but it is. I will never, ever in my life stand in the way of Black love. I think Black love is beautiful. In fact, I think we should see more Black love all over the place. There is Black love present in the WNBA right now. We saw it. They got gamed in the WNBA finals. It was beautiful to watch. Like that happened, right? I will never stand in the way of Black love. And if you want to put Paige and Azzi on the same team in the WNBA for the plot and the vibes of seeing the two of them together, hey, I won't stand in your way. That is a lovely thing to see. Get them a reality TV camera crew and follow them around all season. It'd be great to watch. But I am not in the business. If it happens. I am, because I'm not in the business of, in this particular context, I'm not in the business of bringing Black love together. I'm in the business of seeing teams compete for championships. And I don't think in 2026, Azzi Fudd is the best possible. I don't think she's the best fit into that this season. Now, if Azzi Fudd comes out next season and they have their big, take her. Let's get all the Black love you want. But in 2026, we need a big. I need an elite big because the Seattle Storm have an insane big rotation and the Aces have the best big in the world and the Minnesota Lynx have one of the best forward rotations we've probably ever seen in basketball in a very long time. And there's a bunch of other teams in the league who are getting their forward rotation together as well. The Wings can't keep falling behind.
Need a big.
They can't keep falling behind when it comes to securing their front. They need a big all I'm saying.
I love how we're grouping Paige into the Black love category when she is 100% white, but we embrace Paige and we adopt Paige as one of ours. So I love how you keep saying Black love as if it's two Black people and it's not. but I understand. Trust me, I get it because we adopt Paige. Again, it was my take. This is based on my take that now, and again, I'm not the only person who notices because if you watch the Dallas Wings, we know what they need. Everyone knows. But my take was that they need their equivalent of a Sarah Strong with Paige, who is a dual forward, versatile big who can also shoot. So if we're getting into the details of skill sets, that's why I agree with you that Paige will probably make Lauren Betts that much better. But in terms of skill set, I need Paige with a pick and pop big, with a pick and pop forward. Now, maybe they could find a more rangy forward like that who plays next to Lauren. Maybe Lauren is just like the traditional center that because they still could use that. But when I think about an elite big skill set wise with Paige, based on the film I'm seeing of Awa Pham, based on the film and the skill set that we're seeing early on, that's more of the skill set that I'm looking at as pair that with Paige if you're going with a big. Now, where I'm starting to lean into the plot and starting to feel like maybe they should go with Azzi is and this matters, bro. Marketing. Just and that's part of the plot. It's the Paige and AZ thing. It's the relationship. But that adds to the marketing. That adds to it's the same thing what you talked about with why Indiana would. You talk about if Paige and Lauren Betts were in the same draft. They're not. AZ and Lauren Betts are in the same draft. And the same thing you said about why Indiana would pick Caitlin instead of Aaliyah Boston if they were in the same draft is almost identical to why it wouldn't be crazy to pick Azzi Fudd instead of Lauren Betts in this draft. It's because what Azzi Fudd does for your offense with her skill set, we're not even talking about her basketball wise yet. Like, yeah, you gave her props and said she's a great basketball player. Talk about it. Her and Paige together creates a backcourt that is completely lethal mainly from a shooting standpoint. We saw how well they play together. So this isn't just plot. It's not just love. It's not just marketing and a good story. Basketball wise, this works. It works. Yes, they need a big. You talking about guards in 2 years. They could get a big in 2 years. They could get a big in free agency. They could get I mean, I'm not saying it's that easy, but I'm saying you could still feel it doesn't have to be Lauren Betts. It doesn't have to be Awa Fam. Like, that's where I'm coming from. And I'm starting to feel like, based on basketball, based on marketing, based on selling tickets, they're in the business of that too, right? That's their business. They need to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Azzi Fudd is a perfectly fine option.
It
works. It works. I know what they need. I know what they need in terms of roster personnel, but you also still need shooters. You still need offense. You still need, like, right? That's why I told you, I'm like, now the AZ thing, I think, turns into an Enrique conversation automatically. If they're serious about AZ, we have to wonder what their plan is with Enrique, right? Is that a trade? I don't think, someone correct me if I'm wrong, if I don't know if Enrique's one of the zillion free agents next year. She might be, she might not be. I don't remember. But Enrique becomes the question mark if they're serious about AZ. Because if they get AZ, they may not need Enrique. And it's like, you kind of move on. You use Enrique maybe as a trade piece or something, but I don't think it would be that egregious. I don't think it's worth rioting if they pick AZ number 1, just because you think they need a big. Because we know they need a big, but I don't think it's that serious to riot if they go with Azzi Fudd.
100% is. We're going to take a quick break, hit some comments, but we'll be back on the other side.
Yo, shout out to my brother Martin over there, man. Basketball Society YouTube channel, Protect Our Queens podcast. Yes, man. Shout out to the WNBA. We love y'all, and we got to keep showing them love. Okay, history is literally repeating itself right now. We got Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Okay, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. A big rivalry, crazy going on right now today in our game. We got to show them some love. It's a lot of dudes today that couldn't do half the stuff that they do. We got to give them that love. Now, let me explain something to you. A lot of layups, okay? A lot of three-point shooting. That's what you're going to get, okay? But we got to protect our queens at the end of the day. What are we talking about? Protect them. They deserve it.
So, to your point on Enrique, actually, before we do that, let's...
yeah, what are we talking about? What y'all talking about in the comments, man? What are you guys talking about in there?
The reality they live in now is that they need everything: a big, a guard, a wing. They literally need everything.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. They need better players. They need good players.
I don't disagree either. But if you sat down and you looked at their roster and you grouped all their rosters by position and you just graded guard group, big group, wing group, which group is the weakest, we would all agree that their big group is the weakest. That's my only point, is that 100%. Their big group is the weakest, and that's the part that matters. Yeah. Jeremy says, as a UConn fan, I would love Paige and AZ together to play once again, but as a Lynx fan, we need AZ with feed to help get.
But I think Minnesota might snatch up Olivia at 2. What do you think about that? What is wrong with you, bro? You get so distressed. What's the point? I'm just asking a question.
I don't want to see. I want to. So, okay. I don't want to see the Minnesota Lynx do. I want between now.
Okay, you're going with your fan.
I want between now and the draft for the Lynx to do something that gets their pick confiscated. That's what I want.
Okay, all right. You're on your fan agenda. I can't even talk to you in this moment.
I am sick of it.
Bring the comment back up.
No. Now, hold on. I just want to get that out. As it relates to drafting Olivia Miles, I actually think that would be a really good decision. I think it'd be very smart.
Okay, thank you. That's all I'm asking.
I just wanted to get that off my chest. I don't want to see the Lynx succeed. I don't.
We get it. You're an Aces fan. You don't want. We get it. We get that, Marcus. It's fine.
But in all seriousness, though, the Lynx thing is interesting. I don't even think the Lynx are going to use their pick.
You don't?
No, I don't. Because I don't know if, just thinking about the history of Cheryl Reeve, like Cheryl Reeve doesn't play her young talent often. Now, I don't know how, if at all. Now, I don't know how many times aside from Fee, who, if I'm not mistaken, Fee was a number one overall pick, I think, or something like that. I don't know how many times in Cheryl Reeve's career she's had a pick this high.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, obviously you're picking the top 3, you're going to play the player, but like history, like Diamond Miller, Alyssa Peely, like, etc. Like, she doesn't play her young players often.
Yeah.
It makes me think, especially considering like how very little change they went from 2024 to 2025 as far as roster construction is concerned. I feel like it's more likely that the Lynx would take the second pick and send it away for like a vet somewhere else that they think could come in and help them get over the hump.
Maybe.
Then they would use it on an Olivia Miles. Not because they don't think Olivia Miles is good or worthy of the number 2 pick or anything like that. Just given Cheryl Reeve's history, it doesn't seem like something that they might do. But then again, as you said about Olivia all the time, Olivia Miles is one of those franchise. But that's the other thing too. Like, Olivia is not coming into Minnesota to change the franchise. They have that already.
True.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing about it as well.
So I only posed that as, because historically, I think you're spot on. I think that's a totally fair point. I just think that between Fee's injury, the way Minnesota went down, like, I don't know if Cheryl Reeve is about to go into a new mode of like doing things she hasn't done before historically. I'm more so staking on, I think everyone knows how special Olivia Miles is. Sure. And obviously they have Courtney Williams. Like, it's not like they're desperate 4-point guards. So I get it. But if they're looking for like new life, like a new infusion of, you know what I mean? Like, just like, that's where I'm like, maybe they go with the player who, and Olivia is an example of someone who can help right away. Like, like you said, they wouldn't need her to like change the franchise, but they just add her to the franchise, add what she does to what they do, because part of what she does is what they could use, just a little more youth, a little more life. But you make the fair point. That's the best point in terms of Cheryl Reeve historically.
Let's see. Other comments we have. Why not take AZ this draft and grab Clara next? Because Clara's not a 6'6" demon. Like, maybe I'm over exaggerating. And I'm not saying this as a way to be like disrespectful. I don't want it to come off that way. But what I'm saying is, Clara Strack, good basketball player. Clara Strack is, from all I've seen a little bit from her at Kentucky. I saw a lot of her at Virginia Tech because I watched a lot of Liz.
What's her last name? Is it
Clara Strack?
Strack? I thought it was like Silva or something.
No, Clara Strack. She was at Virginia Tech. She was behind Liz Kitley. Liz Kitley got hurt. She became the starter. Clara Strack's good. I like what I see from Clara Strack. But Clara Strack, to me, is like, and maybe I'm off base here, Clara Strack is Liz Kitley 2.0. And if you're and Liz Kitley isn't better than Lauren Betts. So it all kind of comes back to that. Like, I don't think Lauren Betts would be better for the Wings offense than Awa Pham is, and I don't think Clara Strack will be better for their offense.
Brianna, if you could clarify, because I think she's talking about Clara Silva at TCU, who transferred from Kentucky. That's the Clara I'm thinking of, who's very good.
Maybe. I thought you were talking about Clara Strack. My bad.
I don't even know who Clara Strack is. So I don't even know if I don't know if that's who she's talking about. When I think Clara,
I think Clara Strack because that's the Clara I watch. Like, I watched her play at Virginia Tech. She transferred to Kentucky with Kenny Brooks and played with George Amore last season in Kentucky. So like, that's when I think Clara. I think
Clara's on Kentucky because the only Clara I know of is Clara Silva, and she's pretty good.
Clara Silva is. Let's see.
Probably better than
this
Clara
is a good
Strack.
one. This is a good one. Awa is too young to start, though. They would need a vet to sit behind for a while, like the Storm did with Malunga.
So the one thing I've heard about Awa is that there are concerns about her defense. I know you're bringing up the demon thing, but like neither of us have really. I've been watching film. I don't know how much film you actually watched, but I saw her versatility as an interior scorer. She seems comfortable scoring the ball in different spots on offense. That's why I brought up her skill set. To me, is better to pair with Paige than Lauren Betts offensively. But just in the little research I've done on Awa, apparently her defense is a real question. Apparently it's not looking great so far. So I'll just put that out there.
AZ changes the geometry on the court for Paige, but the issues with Lauren isn't point guard play. It's her footwork and ability to defend, except in drop limited shooting.
Thank you. Sounds like people actually listen to what agree with what I'm saying. Thank you.
At worst, AZ and Paige become Steph and Clay. Lauren ain't it. Why not just get a big in free agency? Because I mean that is a possibility.
Bro,
I'm not negating the possibility. I am not negating the possibility of getting a big in free agency. All I'm saying is like you have to look at all the possible scenarios, right? Who I don't want to say who wants to come to Dallas, like Dallas sucks. But like all of the free agency moves that we saw last season, most of those moves had one thing in common. And that is that these players were going places where there are facilities and other supports outside of just going to go play with good players. And unless I have missed something, I don't think the Wings have those things. I don't think the Wings have facilities. I do know that
they're building something. I think they're
working on it, but I don't think they have it like actively. They also still, I think next season, the 2026 season, is the last season that they're playing in their current arena, which is one of the smallest in the league. I don't think that matters to a lot of people, but it might matter to some. And all I'm simply saying is now, I do like the fact that unlike the NBA, it's free agency and then draft. So like that is a reality that exists. But also, let's play out the scenario where they don't get a big in free agency. You're still having this conversation. Like that aspect of it still exists. Like I do acknowledge that yes, they could just go get a big, but like they could also just go get a guard. That
not a guard like Azzi Fudd. Not a guard like Azzi Fudd.
What do you mean?
Not a guard that has the history and experience with Paige and that shoots the ball like Azzi Fudd. That's what I mean.
Okay, so this is starting to feel like I don't know. This is starting to feel like we're going to end up having like the Sonia Citron, Ariel Atkins conversation with the Wings. The way like this whole like that's what this is starting to feel like because I'm interested to see how that develops because there are a lot of people in Chicago who were upset that the Chicago Sky went and traded the pick away that ended up being Sonia Citron for Ariel Atkins because of just how terrible the Sky looked last season. And I would just like to remind you all that Ariel Atkins was clearly the second best player on that team and was effective. And there are things that Sonia Citron does that Ariel Atkins doesn't do, right? Like Sonia Citron is a better shooter. She's a slightly better scorer. Like, you know, there are things that you look at, and she's younger, obviously. And if you're trying to build for the long term for Angel, you want a younger player. I got it. It's the exact same scenario for Paige. You want to kind of pair her with younger players that can build and grow with her together. But at the same time, I will say the same thing I said when you and Mike Hughes on the show, we talked about Ariel Atkins. Ariel Atkins is a champion. Ariel Atkins was on an all-defensive team every year of her career before leaving Washington. Ariel Atkins is a really good basketball player and a player that you want in the room and in the building with the types of players that they had in Chicago. Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso. There's just a lot of youth, not a lot of direction, not a lot of experience. You want that. So are there guards who are not as skilled that are available in free agency as Azzi Fudd? Sure. Are they as young as Azzi Fudd? No. Are they better than Azzi Fudd? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how you define better. Sure. Is it possible, though, that the Dallas Wings could survey all of the available guards and find themselves a guard that is their Ariel Atkins?
No, there
has experience. Yeah. So, like, that's what I like.
There's good guards out there. When I say not an Azzi Fudd, again, I'm saying it's very specific to her experience with Paige and her ability as a shooter. Who are the shooters in the W that are who are better shooters than Azzi Fudd right now in the W, in your opinion? I mean, just off the top of your head, who would you say are better shooters than Azzi Fudd right now? Is it like a long list? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, would you just start rattling off names? Like you haven't said one yet, so
no. That's also because I was like halfway while you're asking. I was trying to look up the free agency list. I don't think it's a super long list. No. It's not like a super long list, I don't think.
She's a rare talent. That's the point.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she's better than every guard in the W right now. I'm just saying you're not just coming up with another AZ. You're not like when you say you just get another guard. No, we're talking about Azzi Fudd. That's not just another guard.
No, you're right. But so if I just just looking at like some of the now, I don't think every single one of these players are going to leave their current situations, right? But there are a couple of interesting names on here where you look at and you say, maybe,
there's a lot. I know them, bro. There's a lot. There's a lot.
So all I'm saying is, I think at some point, like, I think I hear the point. Yes, at worst, you can draft AZ and get a big, but free agency comes first. It's like, what if you don't get a big? You're still having the same chicken or egg conversation. Do you get AZ? Do you get a big? If you don't get whichever one you don't get, will you find a player in next year's draft or the year after that is just as good or better than the player that's available for you right now? That's my only thing with this whole.
I'm gonna say that if they're not planning on sticking with Enrique, they should draft Azzi Fudd. That's my biggest take. I think this is more than Enrique. If they don't plan on keeping Enrique with Paige, you might as well draft Azzi Fudd, because what you're saying is also going to come up from the guard standpoint. I know you started by talking about their guard room is better than their guard room ain't elite yet, bro. It ain't that. Like, they got good guard, but like, again, if they're not sticking with Enrique as Paige's backcourt mate going forward, they might as well just draft Azzi. Because if you don't have Paige's backcourt mate, that's going to be yet another hole that you have on the roster. It's the same thing as the big thing. You need Paige's backcourt mate. And if it's not going to be Enrique, if they don't plan on that being Enrique, they probably should have their sights set on Azzi. Probably. Like, because it's going to be the same thing. It's the same thing, bro.
That's
like the person said, they need better players at all positions, frankly. Sure. Like, big is where we feel like that's the biggest hole. Yeah. And they need to prioritize that. I agree. But unless it's Sarah Strong herself, I would keep my options open. I would. Our fam looks pretty. She could be special. Maybe she is a demon. Maybe the more we find out, maybe she is the right option. I'm a little bit lower on Lauren Betts. I do agree with you. I think Paige could maximize her even more. I think as a big body and presence, she does bring something that Dallas could use. But as the number one pick, bro, you got to come in and change things, either from a marketing standpoint, from a basketball standpoint, from an excitement standpoint. Don't just give me something I need. Give me something that is number one pick worthy, changing the entire energy of my franchise. Right now, Azzi Fudd has the most juice in that regard.
She does, but I also think, and like, not that it's like a bad thing, but again, I don't think changing the juice matters when your juice is already changed, because Paige is on the team.
Yeah, but you need more juice. You still need more juice. You can't just say, "Oh, we got Paige. We don't need any more guards."
Are you saying Lauren is juiceless?
I'm saying she doesn't bring the same juice as Azzi Fudd.
She doesn't bring the same juice. I don't disagree with that. She doesn't bring the same juice as Azzi Fudd, but I don't.
And when I say juice, it's not just hype. It's game. It's marketing. It's all the things that matter when it comes to drafting someone number one overall, in my opinion. She's got the game. She's got the name. She checks all the boxes. The only box you think she doesn't check is that she's not 6'6" and she can't help them inside. And I agree that they need help inside, but sometimes you take the player who has the most juice, who's going to help inject excitement in your franchise on the court and off the court. She checks all the boxes except for the one where she's not 6'6". So I get that concern, but she checks everything else off.
Every other young guard in the league that we've seen get drafted the past couple of years, they have their front court. They have a front court.
You need a big. I know this. To be good in the WNBA, you need a big. You need a good big.
And also, they had a chance 2 years ago for us to not even have this conversation. They had a chance to go get a big. They didn't. They drafted JC Sheldon instead of Angel Reese. And
please, that was my take too. And I
don't know why. So I know, but what I'm saying though is at what point do we just start realizing that
and again, Azzi Fudd is not JC Sheldon. Let's make that clear.
Azzi Fudd is not JC Sheldon. I know. But what I'm saying is we have seen this Wings team need a big and not get one. Azzi Fudd is not JC Sheldon. I understand. This team needs a big. They're not going to be able to just keep walking around. Like, as I said to you in our text messages, Azzi Fudd, great basketball player, elite basketball player. At worst, the third best player in the country. I don't know how you want to slice it. Probably not even the third. She's at worst 1B to Sarah Strong's 1A. It's ridiculous what they have in UConn. She is not going to help them defend in the post. She's not going to help them crash the boards in the post.
No,
and I would love to see. I want to make it clear. I am not at all advocating against Paige and Azzi from a basketball standpoint in the sense of I don't think it would work. I'd be foolish to think that when we watch them win a championship together. Of course, I think it's going to work. I just think on the list of priorities from strength or from weakest to strongest positions on the roster, center is at the top. And after having taken a look at the free agency groups and players available, these players that are bigs, first of all, not a lot of them. Second of all, the players that are bigs, they're likely not going anywhere. And the only reason why they are free agents is because they knew the CBA was coming up and they just wanted to go back to where they're currently at for more money. Like these bigs that I'm looking at right now, they're not leaving from where they're at. Like, right. Brittany Griner, Bree Jones, Asia Wilson, maybe Ezzie Magbago. Like these players aren't going anywhere. Even if you look at the forwards who are a little bit bigger, who are less, like same thing. They're probably not going anywhere. So, which goes back to the original thing, like for the guards, it's probably the same, but it's probably more likely that they can go get a guard than it is they can go get a big, especially because even though Arike is an unrestricted free agent, that is true. It is still possible that they can do a sign and trade for Arike and go trade for a guard or something else, or go trade for a big. I know that possibility exists as well. So I do agree with you that Arike is like the key to all of this, but I don't necessarily agree though that moving off of Arike automatically points to Azzi because they can go trade for a guard that they feel is better suited to help them right now than Azzi Fudd. I don't know how long that list of guards is. Most of the players on that list probably aren't even tradable assets from their team anyway, but it is just a reality that exists. I think post-free agency, at the end of the day, post-free agency, we're going to be right back in the same position. At the end of February, we're going to look up, and the Wings are either going to make no free agency moves or they're going to make free agency moves that don't have any effect on this conversation in general.
Right.
And, like, am I really going to riot? No, I'd love to see Paige and Azzi together. I would be slightly perturbed, I think is probably the word, because I hate seeing teams do the same thing over and over again. Because, like, what you don't want to happen is the Wings to never get a big out of the draft and miss out on talent. And I'm not saying they're close to that, but again,
I hear you.
We saw this a couple years ago. It could happen again.